The fans love it. Let's get some fans' views now, live to Sky's Daniel Kahn.
Yes, welcome to Fan Central. I'm joined by Sophie Nicolaou from the Highbury Squad podcast representing Arsenal, Ricky Sachs from The Last Word on Spurs representing Spurs, and Stephen McInerney, esteemed company representing Manchester City. So what we're going to do is Sophie and Ricky are both going to pitch for around 30 seconds why their clubs have had the best windows. And we're going to have Stephen from the Manchester City point of view, who I guess have done some really good business this summer.
It's been all right, man. It's been all right.
Be the judge. So what we're going to do, Sophie, I'm going to come to you first. I'm going to time you, right?
You have a buzzer beater.
3, 2, 1. Sophie, off you go.
I think Arsenal's transfer window's been spectacular this season because we've managed to acquire two absolute world-class players from a team that has done incredible things over the last few seasons. They've won the Premier League, they've been superb in the Champions League, they have that mentality and experience, 25 years old, yet come in with this mental attitude that is absolutely astounding. Already, Jesus is so infectious. He is absolutely masterminding how that team operates from a mental perspective right now. And Saliba feels like a new signing.
That was really good on 30 seconds. And Jesus was electric last night, wasn't he? Got the crowd going. Ricky, I'm going to start your 30 seconds. Off we go.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. If the window was to end as it is still, for me now, I think we do need more. But in relation to who we've signed so far, I think Richarlison has been a really good signing for Tottenham. We've signed a player in an area of strength in the squad with Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Dejan Kulusevski. So again, signing a player of that ilk, I think will only benefit us. Premier League experience, Perisic, winner, serial winner under so many elite managers, been around the block, knows how to win. I think, again, it adds experience to an area of the pitch where we're fairly light. In midfield, Basuma, I think we all probably agree against the top six. Basuma has been.
I'm going to have to cut you there.
That sounded like 40
you had some time to practice. I gave you 32. Sorry, Ricky.
Extra time.
Something, Sophie, that Ricky mentioned there is they have signed some really experienced players in Perisic. But equally, you probably feel like signing two players from Man City has done that as well.
Well, I think that just adds so much value, and you're seeing it already. Also, even though Saliba hadn't played in the Premier League, he comes with a ton of experience being on loan in Liga, has had to defend against some really good players, and has also had a call up to the France squad playing with some of the best players in the world. So when you add that to our summer transfer window last season, I think that now you're seeing a bit more of a team in Mikel Arteta's image. And we've also gotten those players. Gabriel Jesus for 45 million, Zinchenko for 30. That's fantastic business, is it not?
I can see Ricky looking... I don't know if you look a bit jealous.
It's still very, very early. Arsenal, again, they've done really well. 5 wins out of a possible 5. They've shown their mental strength by grinding out wins late on. But if we're being honest about it, they haven't faced anybody really inside that top 6. So let's hold our breath. It's far too early to get carried away by Arsenal's crazy start. Very, very early. Spurs at the moment, 8 points up on what they've already had last season. I think it's been steady but not spectacular from Tottenham. And the great thing about Spurs is there's still gears to move up in with Antonio Conte.
But before it gets too heated, I'm just going to bring in Stephen really quickly. I mean, Stephen, you're the expert here, the resident Premier League champion.
The expert, apparently.
And of
course, on the CV, I think now.
City's done some amazing business summer. So I feel like you're in a good position to judge who may be the winner so far. Who would you go with?
To be honest, look, someone always has to go home trophyless. And as per usual, it's Spurs. No, look, being serious, the way I'm judging it is who's improved their first team the most. And look, they've signed 2 Premier League winners with experience. And as good as Spurs' transfer window has been, it's essentially it's squad players mainly. Richarlison's a really good footballer, Basuma as well, and obviously Perisic brings experience. But Arsenal are currently top of the league because of that experience that they've signed. And I can't deny right now, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be very, very happy. Thankfully, I'm a Man City fan, so I'm even happier. But I'm sorry, man, it's a good window, but Arsenal take the trophy.
I think we've had it there. Stephen's crowned Sophie the winner of our first fan battle of the afternoon.
Our first trophy of the season. I like it.
I think you've heard it here first. Arsenal are the winners out of Arsenal and Spurs in the North London derby. Back to you in the studio.
Deadline day, always, of course, a massive day for the fans. Let's get some fan views. Good afternoon, Daniel Kahn.
Welcome back to Fan Central on the Sky campus. This time I'm welcome with Emil Franchi from the True Faith podcast, Harriet Pryor from Anfield Rap representing Liverpool, Kwaku Afari, broadcaster representing Chelsea, and Adam Stott from the United Stand representing Manchester United. So for this segment we're going to talk all about your fantasy signing. If you could pick any player in the world, current day, who would you pick? I'll start with you first, Emil.
I'm going to go for Harry Kane. Because, I mean, he's one of the greatest strikers, if not the best striker in the world at the minute. And if he's going to break Alan Shearer's record anywhere, I would like him to break it at Newcastle, because I can't watch that happen at any other club. So it has to be in black and white, otherwise I'll be heartbroken. We don't have much as a club to celebrate. That's our one thing to cling on to until about 5 years' time, when we might have a trophy.
Nice. Harriet?
I've gone for Jude Bellingham. I know he's a long-term target at Liverpool, but there's been a lot of conversations about Liverpool's midfield at the moment and how it needs a bit of a refresh. And he's a generational talent for me, and someone who come in and just transform that midfield. I feel like the forward line and the defence of Liverpool are so solid now, and planning into the future, the next stage is that midfield, and Jude Bellingham is the person to complete it all for me.
He's been linked with Liverpool quite
He
a lot
is,
already,
next
hasn't he?
season.
Quaku, who are you going for?
Well, me and
Chelsea?
Emil are on the same wavelength here. I'm going for Harry Kane. It might be sacrilege. Hopefully, Ricky Sacks, the Spurs fan, isn't listening and watching, because he'll call me for that. But we know about the curse of Chelsea number 9. We've seen a lot of strikers struggle. So I think Harry Kane will be the man to really score the goals for Chelsea. So he's my choice.
Interesting. Adam, Manchester United have been linked with a lot of players this summer. Who are you going for?
I was with the Harry Kane at first, but we're keeping Ronaldo now, so I'm going to keep it what it is now. So I'm going to go for Frenkie de Jong, who we have been chasing apparently all summer. He's just the closest thing to me closest thing to Paul Scholes that we've had, or could get anywhere near to. Someone controlling that midfield, and maybe the season after we go get Kane, if I'm being greedy, something like that. That's what we do, innit? We get with everyone, and then season after season.
So I'll come to you, Adam and Harry. We have 2 Harry Kane kind of wanted for Chelsea and Newcastle. Who would you say needs them more?
Ooh, I'd probably go for Chelsea, although they have just signed Aubameyang. That deal's going through, isn't it? So maybe you don't need that out-and-out number 9 so much. But then Newcastle just got Isak. We saw him score last night on his debut, so you don't need him so much either now.
More than merrier. Callum Wilson is going to be done very soon, so I think you need that strong striker who's going to be poaching goals. You know, Isak looked brilliant last night against Liverpool already. I think he's the best striker I've ever seen, just because of what I've seen in that game. That's literally it. That's what Newcastle fans are feeling right now. It's great to see a striker hit the ground running.
He'd be great alongside Harry Kane, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
They could link up together really well, actually. So maybe I'll give him to Newcastle.
I agree. It's very generous.
Actually, I don't want to see Harry Kane be destroyed by the curse of the number 9 at Chelsea. To be honest, someone who's done so well for the country as well. I prefer to see him up north, stay up north there, with close to us. I think Newcastle would suit him better as well, I think. Chelsea are Chelsea, I think.
Chelsea.
They've been in competition with us for long enough, so we'll let Newcastle have a little bit as well, I think. So,
and Adam, it's really interesting you picked a midfielder. I know you said Ronaldo's fit now, but Martial's injured, and they don't have a lot of options as that number 9. So why didn't you go for, say, a Benzema or Kane?
Well, look at what we got rid of in the summer. We lost a lot of midfielders. We brought in 1. We do need that extra midfielder, and anything that takes McFred away from this Manchester United lineup, speaking for a lot of United fans on this one, would be a godsend, to be honest. So he just controls so much. With the destroyer that is Casemiro there now as well, I think he's ideal for what we need. Like I said, there is a better striker probably coming. There's not much available in striker terms right now, age-wise, for the future. Frankie's a future. We'll go for the striker next summer.
It's all fun playing fantasy football, isn't it? Hopefully we might see Harry Kane maybe one day.
Not fantasy for us.
As you said, we won't tell Ricky that, because I don't think he'd be very happy. But yeah, you put it here first. Harry Kane, maybe we'll see him in a Newcastle shirt one day. Back to you in the studio.
Point of view, head back to Fan Central and join our reporter Daniel Kahn.
Yes, welcome back to Fan Central. We're joined by 4 of our resident fans here. We've got Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester City and Chelsea being represented on our latest panel. We're going to have a quick game of higher or lower with some of the most notable signings of the window. Stephen, we're going to start with you. We're going to talk about Erling Haaland. Higher or lower? Erling,
I'm not even joking, genuinely. Anything you're going to say, I'm almost certain. Sorry, go on.
He will break the Premier League scoring record of 32, higher or lower?
It's got to the point now that I'd be disappointed if he didn't, so higher, because it sounds crazy, but the goal record he's got, is he like 23 goals he needs in 33 games?
Back-to-back hat-tricks.
He's going to do it.
Would you not worry about his injuries, though, his injury history when he's at Borussia Dortmund?
It's Dortmund. Dortmund have a history of injuries, and to be honest, we can bring him up after half-time anyway, so he's going to get plenty of rest. And Look, he's going to play the games that we need him to play, and even then, he can play 30 games and still break it anyway. So
if he's scoring 2 hat-tricks every month,
he's not
then,
normal, Daniel. He's not normal.
How worried are the rest of you about Haaland? I mean, he is a problem in the Premier League, isn't he?
Yeah, listen, I worry about him when we play him. At the moment, I can't even look at him and watch him play.
Deal with it.
I'd love to see. I can't wait to see how Saliba handles a player like Haaland.
Do you fancy him against Haaland?
I mean, I fancy my plays against anyone, but I mean, he's like a Marvel comic book character. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Staying on Haaland, Sophie, I'm going to come to you for another higher or lower. Gabriel Jesus will have more goal contributions, goals and assists than Erling Haaland, higher or lower.
I like this. This is like an old school Bruce Forsyth, play your cards right, higher or lower. You've got nothing for a pair in that game. So maybe Jesus doesn't get anything for his pair, because when you're going up a player like that, if there's injuries, I fancy Jesus. I think he's going to be sensational for us. Like I said earlier, he's changed the team already. But Haaland right now is the man to beat.
Everyone else agree on that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah, 100%.
Cool. Ricky, I'm going to come to you now. Richarlison will score more goals than another City signing, Julian Alvarez, in the Premier League.
I will say higher on Richarlison. I just think... Alvarez
disagreement on the bad one.
Alvarez has made a really good start so far. I think Richarlison is one to watch. I think a dark horse. I think, we've seen so far this season, he's had a massive contribution where Spurs have picked up points. Stamford Bridge, Nottingham Forest. I think, as the season goes on, we've seen Son have a dip so far. I think Richarlison will be absolutely pivotal to Tottenham. Huge in Everton, staying in the Premier League. And I think Richarlison does guarantee you goals and assists. And I think overall, just having that edge on Premier League experience, I think Richarlison...
You're making the rest of the panel giggle here.
How many has he scored so far?
Hasn't yet scored. This guy's got a proven Premier League record. Like I say, massive for Everton. He's around better players.
Yeah, but how many games is he going to start?
Well, I think we've seen Son at the moment not in form, and I think Conte will have the belief that he's got to rotate that squad. We've got so many games coming between now and November. He'll get his chance.
Quaker, just really quickly, saw you disagreeing there. Yeah. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, Julian Alvarez, I've got faith in the South American strikers that come over and play in the Premier League. Where you see Carlos Tevez, you see Luis Suarez, you see Sergio Aguero, they score goals, and I think Julian Alvarez is cut from the same cloth. Richarlison is a great player in terms of his output. I'm not too sure he's going to score as many goals as Alvarez. He came on against Chelsea.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. We're just running out of time, Quake. But very good argument. That was a very quick game of high low. Very entertaining. Back to the studio.
Country.
Yeah, all afternoon we've been getting the fans' perspective on deadline day with our reporter Daniel Kahn. Here's him now with some more supporters. Hey, Dan.
Hey, welcome back to our Fan Central. We got Adam, Harriet, Sophie, and Emil
from Newcastle.
Of course, Emil from Newcastle.
Forget.
Of course. Oh, no. How can I forget? That was awful, wasn't it? No, I'm joking. So we have a scenario to throw at all of you. We have an absolute scenario to throw at all of you on deadline day. If you were a 30-year-old nomadic striker playing in Europe, you're a free agent, and you could sign for any Premier League manager, not just the club, but a manager, who would it be? Adam.
I'm going to put rivalries aside. I'm going to go Patrick Vieira. I like his recruitment. I like that street football look. He's got that vibe there. I think they need a 6'4" target man in between them front men. I think I'm perfect for that. I think that's where I'd go. But I think he's showing potential, Vieira, and I think he is going to be one of the managers that surprises a lot of people going forward. So rivalry aside, obviously.
Interesting. Manchester United fan goes for Vieira. Harriet?
We've had a lot of good shouts off air. We've had Antonio and Conte. I'd obviously love to play for Gerrard, Liverpool legend, but I've gone for Arteta because I really like the project that they're building there at Arsenal. And if you were coming in as a 30-year-old, they've got quite a young team, haven't they? So you'd be one of the leading figures, one of the more experienced players. I'm not saying that I could do anything to that team because I'd be useless, quite frankly. But I think being part of that Arteta project would be good fun. I rate what he's doing as a manager, and not just because they're top of the table at the moment.
Sophie, I bet you're
great choice. That's my girl right here.
And the one more stipulation was none of our fans could pick the managers of their own team, so that's why they've gone.
No one has picked Jurgen Klopp.
No.
Or Eric Ten Hag. Sophie, who's your choice?
At first, I was thinking Jesse March just because of his high-octane football, entertaining, little American razzmatazz in there as well. But as an Arsenal fan, how could I not pick Patrick Vieira to be managed by an invincible and an awesome captain? He's been around the game. He's done his apprenticeship. He knows and understands what it takes to play at the top level. I'm going to go for Patrick, the legend that is Vieira.
Palace have been really good though, haven't they? I
Yeah.
think they've surprised people last season and this season under Vieira, so two good
I
shouts.
think that one was more biased on that than.
Oh, come on. Maybe
You said bias aside, it was bias aside.
And finally, no, I'm joking.
I'm going to go for, cheers Dave, I'm going to go for Graham Potter because I like what he's about. You know, it seems to be everyone's kind of like, he's like the understated manager of the Premier League, a bit similar to Eddie Howe. If you can't have Eddie Howe, go for Graham Potter. The man knows how to grow a great beard. He knows how to grow a young player. He would probably put a lot of the senior players in charge of, you know, like overseeing how they develop. And I just think there's a real good atmosphere down at Brighton. And you got the weather as well. I know I don't have to play for Brighton, but Graham Potter's staying there for a while, isn't he? So I'm going to go and see Graham Potter and have a nice time.
And one of the fewest managers who's wearing a suit this season.
Oh, what do we think about manager attire?
Suits every
Are we
time.
a suit for
I like the
every
chilled
game?
vibe. I'm all about the chilled
Suits,
vibe.
modern,
Yeah.
modern.
Suit,
Modern.
cup final suit.
Modern manager.
Cup final suit.
No ripped jeans.
Definitely.
Cup final for
Cup
every
final
game.
suit. I agree with
Every
you,
game's a
Neil.
cup final when you play for Graham Potter.
You know what? What do I to add? I think that's a perfect way to add. Thanks so much for our fans today for Deadline Day. Back to you in the studio.